Okay, so you're 10 years this week, right?
Next week.
Why did I always think it was around your birthday that you were diagnosed?
That's when I had my DBS done.
Oh, okay. Got it. Welcome to The Secret Life of Parkinson's, a podcast created by people living with Parkinson's to help break the stigma of a disease no one likes to talk about. Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Krauser and Brian Baker. Well, we have another young onset member here with us, but he is 14 years in to his disease journey. Robert McMillan, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate the invitation.
Yeah, so I got that right. You were diagnosed 14 years ago?
In April of 2011, I'd had symptoms 3 or 4 years before that, but the actual diagnosis was spring of 2011.
And how old were you?
I was 45 and had just started in a new career.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. So we've actually had viewers ask to see a young onset individual on, but who is 15, 20 years in. So when you reached out, I was excited, one, because, another viewer watching the show has a story that you can share. And I think that this one is...
You got one.
It's interesting because it's like, we see people at the gym, and there's only a couple that had young onset that are further in now. But that's what I would love to talk about is, what it was like back then when you were first diagnosed, and then you said you started a new career. Are you still working?
I'm still working and plan to do so for 5 or 10 more years.
Good for you. Well, let's dive into that too.
All right.
Okay, so when you were first diagnosed, how was that diagnosis with your doctor? Because I know the stories that we hear now. What was that experience like?
Well, it was pretty startling. I mean, I knew something was wrong. I'd developed a very awkward gait and kind of took an elongated step with my right leg, and people had noticed it. My right arm wasn't swinging as it should, and I went and saw an orthopedic because I had a hip condition when I was a child, and I thought it might be related to that. And as through the process of elimination of other things, a doctor friend of mine said, "I want you to go see a neurologist," and that's when I was first diagnosed with Parkinsonism.
Yeah.
And then I got a second opinion at Duke University, and that was confirmed. And I was by myself with the doctor when she first gave me the diagnosis. She asked me to come back the next day with my wife so we could ask her questions together.
Oh, that's nice. So it was
Nice quick turnaround there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a thoughtful approach.
That's not typical. Did you feel more confident in having that type of relationship with your doctor?
Well, I don't still see that doctor. It was a good first start to kind of wrap our arms around it. And my wife was great. She remains great. She's a wonderful care partner, but doesn't treat me like I'm going to break if I stumble. And somehow I'm still able to catch myself from falling when I shuffle and freeze.
How long were you diagnosed before you actually told people?
Told my immediate family and some close friends pretty much right away. But I mean, I literally started my new job 4 months ahead of time. I was taking securities exams. I had an exam the next day. So it was great timing, let me tell you.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. How did the stress impact your ability with work? Because I know that's huge for me, is the stressors.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was still getting to know my partners and the people around the office and the industry. So, and I didn't want to kind of come in as damaged goods, so to speak. And so I kind of kept it to myself for probably the first 6 to 9 months, and then took one of my actual partners into confidence and shared it with him. But it was noticeable that I mean, my gait still, I didn't start on a Cinemed or a carbidopa levodopa until about 2 years into the diagnosis, at the advice of another doctor. So I was just taking, I guess, an agonist.
Yeah. What were you on?
It's called Azilect, and I didn't feel much either way, either on or off. It didn't really impact me very much. So my symptoms were still pretty visible.
You had gait issues. What other symptoms did you have?
Kind of the arm swing, and I think a reduced sense of smell.
With the medication, would you go back and tell your first diagnosed self to take carbidopa-levodopa, or are you okay with that you waited?
Well, I was able to see a doctor at, I've got several new great friends who are in the Parkinson's community. I mean, in all seriousness, it's an incredible community.
Yeah.
And you two are members of that tribe with me now. But I was advised to go see a doctor at Johns Hopkins, which I did. And he suggested, he was kind of like, Mr. McMillan, we're all about you enjoying life for as long as you're able to, and do the activities you love. And I want to recommend you start carbidopa-levodopa. And I took that advice and started it immediately thereafter. That was probably 2013, 2014.
So exercise, as far as that goes, 14 years ago, was that a big thing?
Yeah. Did they talk about it?
Yes. Yeah, particularly the folks at Hopkins, they were very tuned into that. I told my wife and me to take up Argentinian tango dancing.
Did you do
We
that?
went to one class and didn't return. Not that we don't love to dance with each other, but not that.
Argentinian tango.
Yeah.
That had to be difficult.
So now, are you still in an exercise program for?
Yep, I'm been involved with rock steady boxing for 10 years or so.
Great.
Nice. Do you like I'm assuming is it like a small community, like a small gym?
Absolutely. We're like family. We pick at each other, and it's like a support group. You're not sitting around in a circle. You're actually hitting things and razzing each other, and it's great fun.
Do you guys have a place too to just like hang out after? Like,
some of us go to a coffee shop afterwards, so it's good stuff.
Where do you live? Because you said you went to Duke and
Charlotte,
then John
North Carolina.
Okay.
do a lot of golfing?
I did, then I didn't. But with Vialev, the pump,
Oh, that's right.
it really allowed me to get back and playing a decent game of golf.
So what were you doing before Vialev?
I was doing carbidopa-levodopa and Rytari, and my dyskinesia got worse and worse over time, and I was very spastic and
So I
jerky and
didn't know that Vialev helped with dyskinesia, because isn't it supposed to be the same amount of carbidopa-levodopa that you were getting orally?
It is, but I think because the way my doctor explains it, you take your first dose in the morning and it hits you pretty hard because you got an empty stomach. But as you go on through your day and you have food in your stomach, food gets priority in your digestive tract. And he said the pill will literally sit in your intestines until its food has been digested, and then it'll come hit you again, maybe a couple hours after you think it's going to take effect. So it's a constant yo-yo of on and off. But when we got the pump, I mean, I've been told by AbbVie, I was the fourth person in the country to get the pump last November.
Wow.
And we went through all the training me how to do it myself. But when that thing got in my body, my wife said my face just went relaxed within a couple of minutes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so it's a steady dopamine release as nature intended, as my doctor says, and that hence the dyskinesia is from kind of the
Up and down.
the too much too soon.
What else has improved because of Vialev?
Hey, my sleep's improved. I'm doing less thrashing and yelling out dreams or.
Oh, you have RBD as well?
Yeah, and I didn't have a lot of that, but it definitely was something that would happen every now and again. But can't remember the last time and that's happened.
Any side effects? Any issues with the pump at all?
No really side effects internally. I get sometimes get a little infection in the site where I put the cannula. I mean, it's a little plastic needle that's kind of similar to what diabetics do with their insulin or some of these new diabetic drugs that you inject them. Sometimes those sites, the site where I put that in gets a little infected and painful, but doesn't happen very often.
Or at least the benefits are outweighing the fact that happens.
For sure.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's really good. I'm glad to hear that that's going well. Would you recommend Vialev to other people, or do you feel like it's only for certain individuals?
I'm probably not qualified to answer that, but I think if you're someone who is experiences significant dyskinesia, I would encourage you to try it. It's I mean I'm clear to say it's not heading down the path to a cure, but
No.
it's really great current symptom management.
Did you ever consider DBS? That what Brian and I had, the
Did
deep
have
brain?
a consultation about that, but I wanted to give this a good try first.
Oh, okay.
And I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
And I know DBS is probably getting there's more efficacy every year, and
Yeah.
it's safer. And so that's probably only going to improve as a therapy. But I'm not compelled to do that at
Just
this
yet.
point.
Yeah. No, that, I mean, hey, if what's working for you works and you're happy with it, that's all that counts. And you know what he has now too? He just got this week?
A puppy.
A beach band. So you have the beach band on, right? So the beach band was just released in the US in November, so just last month.
Yes,
And you just got yours this week?
just earlier this week.
And so now you have that and Vial. How you feeling compared
Well,
to without it?
Without it, yeah, I can't say in any exact terms, but my on periods feel more on, if that makes sense. Apparently, to get the full benefits of it, and they're very in their literature and on their website. It's very clear they're not a medical device; it's a wellness device, and they don't make medical claims, but they say patients or people that have used it have found the following outcomes.
Yeah. So you have to wear it. They say then to wear it every day or all day long.
Yep, yep, yep.
Is it bothersome? Because I know when we first started or when we first tried it, it was like loud and
I've tried it on they encourage you to try it on both wrists and both ankles and just sort of rotate around and it's obviously less noticeable on my ankle than my wrist.
yeah.
But it's like they liken it to you live in a building near a train track. You sort of learn to
Yeah.
tune out the train coming by at 2 a.m.
I have is at my house. I get trains all the time, and then I remember thinking like, how are we ever going to live with this? And you're right. You just forget about it, which is good.
Yep.
So, how do you feel with when you were first diagnosed 14 years ago to right now? Like, did you ever think at that time when you were 45 that,
You'd still be working.
Yeah.
Living a normal life.
I didn't really think that would be the case. I probably worth mentioning. My paternal grandfather had Parkinson's,
Okay.
and we so happened to live literally next door to them out in the countryside, and I was part of his care team. And so I was very familiar with Parkinson's, and he passed away in his mid 70s. And but I can just I don't remember him with much quality of life, and he it was kind of a steady downhill descent. My 15 years or with it has been, I mean, I've had an interesting experience. I mean, people will see me struggling to walk and coming into a conference room a couple of weeks ago. At a company outing, I was struggling to get to my seat and just self-conscious because people could see me. And afterwards, two different people came up and said, "You look so much, frankly, better than when I remember you in Milwaukee 3 years ago. You were really struggling then, and you look so much better." And I'd kind of been beating myself up in my own mind, and that made me feel really good to hear them
Yeah.
say that. So like, you don't look like, I mean, other than your steps, you don't look like anything's going on.
Well, it's one of Jess's favorite sayings is, "This isn't your grandfather's Parkinson's."
Yeah,
That's good.
It's a new generation of Parkinson's. But so like, what was your like? Because it's hard to even believe that you've had this for 10 years too. Because I always think like I'm like, oh wow, like 14, 15 years, but 10 years is still very long too. But we talk about our fluctuation of like, in like I'm better now than I was when I was first diagnosed.
Yeah, well, no doubt about it.
So tell like, because people watching and listening, they could be newly diagnosed. They might be diagnosed, 20 years ago, but a lot of, at least the early on ones, they need to hear and need to know, one, everyone's Parkinson's is different, but what are the things that you implemented in your life, even just like from talking about it and sharing about it with other people, and, you know, making sure that you had the right things done at work, so that you can continue to thrive, and, you know, changing your medications, exercising. What are all the things that you feel like you did that has led you to still having a good quality of life today?
Great question, Jessica. Where do I start? It's a bad diagnosis. Let's get that out in front and center. It's a bad diagnosis. It's a tough disease to live with, and it's very different than a terminal cancer diagnosis, which is awful in its own right. But I mean, the fact is, unless a cure comes in our lifetimes, we're going to spend the rest of our lives dealing with Parkinson's. But what's important is to put together a team. I kind of call it my foxhole team, and that's my family and certain friends. Let them know what you're dealing with, and I'm in it for the long haul to put up a fight. I'm going to do everything I can to prolong my quality of life. And you got to be your own advocate. You got to educate yourself about the disease, and there really is incredible research. I think we're going to have a breakthrough, hopefully with dementia as well. The brain is an ever unfolding mystery we're learning more about. So be encouraged about the future. Second, get involved in an exercise regimen. Rock steady boxing happens to be the one I'm in, but Tai Chi or swimming or bicycling or just walking. Just keep moving. And be conscious of your diet. Because there's a lot of research that points to the relationship between your gut microbiome and your brain and how those affect each other. With the advent of AI, there's more information you can find out about it.
Were you quick to accept your diagnosis?
Brian, I think I was. I mean, I knew something was wrong and intuitively. And I kind of had a moment with a minister friend of mine kind of early on, and we had breakfast, and I shared it with him, and he kind of said, okay. And I'm kind of expecting some sympathy and some, that isn't that bad. He said, no, sir, this is your opportunity to reflect your higher power's grace, and you can use this to a bigger purpose.
Totally agree.
And I hope that has happened along the way.
That's awesome. That's really good to hear. And I feel the exact same way. As, you know, you got to, with anything in life, with anything that you're handed, it's how do you deal with it? And I tell my kids that all the time. It's become cliched, but you
can't control your circumstances or what happens to you, but you can control how you react to it. That's a daily, I get frustrated as all get out when I'm trying to turn a corner, go into the men's room in my office building, and all of a sudden, stuck.
So how is freezing of gait? Because we know a few people at our gym that deal with freezing of gait. And for some of them, it's constant. Like they cannot go 5 steps without stopping.
Well, I mean, actually being at the gym and the boxing class is one of the more difficult environments for me because we're constantly moving around. I mean, there's a fall risk. It's essentially your upper part of your body wants to keep moving forward. So I get kind of bent over and have to sort of stop and get the weight on my heels instead of on the front of my feet, and then kind of take a deep breath and concentrate on taking a step. So, I mean, there's a process to get out of it, but if I'm in a crowded restaurant and trying to get out, that's usually when things can go sideways.
Yeah. What's your trigger? Like, do you say something to yourself? Do you put a foot in front of yourself? Do you put a stick?
My wife will put her foot in front of myself. People watch us do that, kind of like, well, that's a neat trick. I count steps, sort of count out 1 through 8 and start over. Seems to help.
That has to be one of the most frustrating symptoms. I haven't experienced it, but just seeing it and knowing how frustrating it is for them. And
it presents a fall risk.
When did you develop freezing of gait?
At least 7 or 8 years ago.
Okay. Did it kind of just come out of nowhere, or was it like a gradual?
No, I think it kind of evolved. I mean, again, my first symptom was just a very elongated, awkward gait. And so I think it's kind of been my right leg that's kind of been the epicenter, if you will, of my PD.
Because I started feeling myself like, I don't know if it's like my hip or like in my knee. It's like something is like catching sometimes when I'm walking. And it's when I'm towards like late afternoon or early evening, and because I have my DBS on, but I don't take my next Crexont pill of carbidopa levodopa until like the end of the night. And so it's like, I'm almost nervous. I'm like, is this what it's going to feel like? Like it's starting to creep up, but I don't.
I do the same thing. I do like when we're doing like wide squats. Melissa will say, bring your feet in. My feet are like stuck out. I'm like, I can slowly bring them back in.
Yeah.
Well, I'll often go from a freeze into a shuffle, like, and people are scared I'm going to just keep going and crash into the door. But I usually catch myself.
You have kids, right?
3.
Okay. How old were they when you were diagnosed?
Oh, let's say they were between 6 and 10.
So how did they deal with your progression and just like knowing now the journey of Parkinson's, and do they even acknowledge it, like recognize
They
it?
do. I mean, they've been wonderful. We didn't tell them for about a year or so, and we happened to be on a kind of a long car drive up to another part of the state, and just took that opportunity to tell them, and they understood to a degree, but they both all wrote papers about Parkinson's for school, but we carry on and like we always did, but they're mindful if I'm having they need to throw a foot out, they'll do that and encourage me.
That's good.
They're a great part of the support team, certainly in my foxhole.
That's awesome. I like that idea of a foxhole. I need a foxhole group.
Foxhole friends.
Yeah. What would you say to somebody who's newly diagnosed as young onset, or I mean, just even new to Parkinson's, but specifically young onset? What would you say to them as something that they should take away?
It is not the proverbial death sentence. You can have a magnificent life ahead of you, even with something like this. Very few of us leave this earth without dealing with some significant health challenges. That's you can pretty much book it when you're born. That's going to happen at some point in your life, and it's how you react to it. You want to surround yourself with positive people and supportive people, and seek as much information as you can get, and be your own advocate.
You know, it's not like you said. It's not a death sentence.
Yeah, we've gotten.
It's not.
And the thing is, it's sad that it's still stigmatized that way. You know, it has been for so long, and it's like, how are we not past that? How have we not educated ourselves or educated society that it's not like it's different disease than I think people really assume it to be.
And it's refocused me on, do I just spend my time with who I want to be with?
Yeah.
And don't waste my time.
I think that's actually another good point too. And I said that to I said it to somebody, I think just like in an email of, if anything, it gives us great perspective on life. You know, sometimes, you know, even like with my husband, like he's always like very focused, dedicated on work, which is great, you know, but it's like, there's so much more to life. And I feel like we have that power now to have that visibility. I mean, even though everyone's going to die on this earth, it's not a secret, but you know, now that we have this insight into like, okay, well, things aren't going to be how I thought they were going to be. I don't know. I just feel like those of us that take it that way act different and don't take life for granted and live each day as your best day. I don't know.
Have a longer view.
Yeah. So, well, Robert, thank you so much for writing into us and for sharing your story with us. I know that there are many other young onset people that are in your shoes too, you know, 15 years in or longer or shorter, but it's great to see the things that you have done to take care of yourself and, you know, still thriving.
There's one, if I can make one more comment.
Yeah.
This would be maybe for the young onset, newly onset, or anybody. Having Parkinson's is like being involved in a wrestling match. Some days you're sort of on top and in control. And the next day it might very well be the other way around.
Yeah.
And a wrestling match exhausts every part of your body, arms, legs, core. And there are a lot of days where I fall on the bed. If it's been a busy day or been at a social function, I can I've had to crawl from the bathroom to my bed before. It'll wear you out. It's going to take all you got. You just got to learn to live with that.
That's a really good analogy.
It is
Thank you. I
great.
know. I like it. Thank you again for coming on. We really appreciate having you. You shared a lot of really wonderful insight, and happy that the pump and the beach band are working for you. So good luck to you.
I appreciate it, Jessica.
Yeah. So in our last 30 seconds, I'll leave you with this. There's so many things that will happen to you in your life, and it's how you respond to it is really what you need to focus on. So you can only control so much. So you can always control your response. So think about that if you're newly diagnosed or you're just having a bad day today. All right. With that, we'll see you next time.